I think originally when I listened through this song, I was taken back to all of my favorite songs from the 90s that we just jammed to, which really I wish we still heard on the radio all the time, or hearing more women on the radio now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I get asked, like, more than any question in the world, why there aren't more women on the radio. And I think it's such a funny question to ask a female who's trying to be on the radio. I'm like, what do you want me to say?
I've devoted my life to this cause.
It's literally the only goal I have consistently in life. It's the one goal I've never gotten rid of. All of the other ones, I'm like, maybe I don't know if this is what I want to do. Being on the radio and being on stage and the singing and writing songs is like the only thing that I've always wanted. And I'm like constantly reminded of how hard it is. And people are like, I'm like, trust me, I know. And if I knew how to fix it, I would. Yeah. I don't know what the secret ingredient is. And so I was like, my brain, the way I like think about things is like when you're like a creative person, you approach thoughts very differently. And I was like trying to think of a way to address it in a song. That's what I do with everything.
Yeah.
And like no one in my life is safe. If you're in my life, I'm writing about you. And if you ask me questions, I'm going to write about it. And so like I got asked this question so many times to the point where I was like, I'm writing a song about it. But with my brand and what I do as an artist, I'm very intentional with being like overly positive. I don't ever want to be like bitter and hateful. And it's just not like that tone is just not where I want to come from as an artist. So I was like,
and revisit
it's not
every
who
night.
you are. You're not.
Well, yeah, I try to I'm the girl who likes to make people laugh. I'll turn any negative thing into a joke in 2.5 seconds. But I wanted to like address it, right? Because I grew up in a time where Trisha Yearwood, Reba McEntire, Dolly Parton, Shania Twain,
Pam Tillis,
Martina McBride, all these people, Dina Carter, so many people on the radio, women on the radio, just like talking about shaving their legs and whatever they wanted to talk about.
Right.
And man, I feel like a woman. And the songs even were like, hey, we're girls and we're proud of it. You know, and then I feel like somewhere along the way, and I don't know how this happened, we as women got lost on the radio. And then I went through this phase where I was like really trying to chase what the men were saying. And like I would say with like Barefoot and Buckwild, I love that song, I'm very proud of it. But I wrote that song in a time where it was like bro country was very heavy. And I was like almost trying to chase that a little bit. I was trying to, but I was in a way, I was trying to give like the female perspective. I like the other side of it because I do like to be driven around in a truck and put my feet up on the dash and all of these things because I'm a country girl. But I was like,
100%.
Is that really what I want to say to people? And so then I wrote Road Less Traveled, and it really did everything on that album is what I wanted to say to people. And that album changed my life. But I fully embrace the fact that I will not say what Luke Bryan is going to say. I'm going to say what a woman is going to say. And so then I keep getting asked this question about why there aren't more women, why this, why that. And I was like, I'm going to write a song about it. And I was like, I grew up in the 90s. I literally have my dream and believe in it because of Shania Twain, because of Faith Hill and Martina McBride, and because these women did it. You know, it was like proof that women could be on the radio. And I learned to sing in the back seat of the car, singing when I was a kid. I feel like a woman. I was like, I am so proud to be a boss lady, you know? And so I wanted to write Ladies in the 90s from the perspective of like, hey, this is what happens when girls are heard. Look, these are 12 examples of songs that really impacted me in my childhood and made me love being a woman and made me like have the life that I have now. I dreamed my dream because of these women through their dreams. And I was like, friendly reminder, these are the most epic songs of all time. I think the like messages in the song were like, we're women.
Yeah.
We are women, and this is what we go through. And I shied away from that for a long time. Like I was trying to, I don't know what I was trying to do, but the one thing I think is so important about country music is that it is honest. And when I started being honest, I felt a total change in the way I connected with people through music. And I think that in the 90s, people were so honest.
Yeah.
Man, I Feel Like a Woman is a party song, but it is honest. Yeah. At its core, it is an honest song about being a woman and like owning it.
Yep.
So that's just what I've been like trying to do with music in general. And I picked 12 songs for Ladies in the 90s that I like, that made me feel that way.
But I think too, for all the little girls that are listening to your music and seeing you and the example that you are, just the way you looked at all of those other women, they need to see you living out your dream and saying your truth, because you're giving them permission to dream the same dream.
Right. And regardless of what that dream is.
Right.
There's such a serious conversation and happening about women not being able to do things. And it frustrates me so much because it's like, I don't want little girls out there hearing these interviews and thinking, well, can I not, I want to be a doctor. Can I not be a doctor because it's harder to be a woman? And it just frustrates me so much. I'm just like, don't know how to flip that conversation into, hey, this is what I can do because I'm a woman. I may have to work harder and I may have to do these other things, but I'm willing to do that. And when I win, I'm going to win big because I like work twice as hard. And I don't know. I meet so many little girls and I look at them and I think, please, whatever you want to do, just do it. The conversations are coming from a place of like really wanting to help. I don't think it's anyone saying women can't do this. It's just, why can't women do this? And I wish it was like, how can women do this and make it bigger? I just like, it scares me for the little girls right now because it's like all people are talking about, you know? So I was just trying to write like a fun song about it and like, yo, this is what happens when women are heard.
I was thinking about, as you were talking about just the little girls and the messages that you hear. And I think about growing up, my mom always said, you can do anything you put your mind to. But then fast forward years later, I remember I was making the decision to leave kind of the business side of music and come to this side and start telling stories about the people that are in the music business and just connecting with people in that way from a media perspective and doing interviews like this. And I remember a guy I was dating at the time saying to me, well, that's not a real job. And I remember thinking like, well, but I think that it is. Like, you're telling me something that is my dream to eventually, like, you know, be Oprah or something. That's not, I mean, we all gotta have big dreams, people. But someone saying to you, like, that's not possible, or that's not a real thing. And I remember it just kind of killing my spirit at the time. But at the same time, deep down knowing, no, this is the path that I believe God has me on, and I'm going to keep walking forward. Have there been moments like that for you over the years?
Oh, gosh. Like 5 or 6 years ago, I remember thinking, I'm going to have to do something else here. And I had like no backup plan. But I remember one specific time getting called and told, well, it's just harder because you're a woman. And this isn't going to work. If you were a man, we wouldn't be dealing with this. And it was like someone that I work with saying to me that something we all believed could happen wasn't going to happen. We were like losing a single on the radio. And they said, it's because you're a woman. And I just remember being like, ew. And then I kind of thought, what's the point then? Like, what am I doing here then? I'm like doing all of these, you know, shows and traveling around. And like, when you're early in your career, you're not making money. I know people think that we're like all rich and we live in mansions and these things that's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hustle.
It does eventually happen if you hit big. Mm-hmm. But like at the time I was like doing a radio tour where I was literally doing free shows and like literally not getting paid to do these shows, doing all kinds of shows for free. And then going on a tour where I barely made enough money to pay for us to get there. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, so you're saying that all this hard work I'm doing and all of these people I'm connecting with doesn't matter because I'm a woman. And I just remember thinking, I won't be talked to like that. Like, I'm not. Mm-mm. But it almost fueled me more, honestly. Like, once I calmed down, I was like, bring it, because there's so many talented women in this town that deserve to be heard. And I just thought, if we give up, then that whatever that story is that women can't wins. Mm-hmm. So I was like, watch me.